On March 2nd, 2021, Nigeria received nearly 4 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine shipped via the COVAX facility. This is a landmark step towards the goal to ensure equitable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines globally. In what will be the largest vaccine procurement and supply operation in history, the delivery is part of a first wave of arrivals in Nigeria that will continue in the coming days and weeks. In total, Nigeria is expecting 84 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines from AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson, and it is expected to cover about 20% of the country's 200 million population. The AstraZeneca vaccine requires 2 doses per person. Nigeria has since started vaccinating people after receiving its first batch of COVID-19 vaccines, and almost 4 million doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines have been rolled out nationwide for several weeks now. The vaccination is ongoing and championed by prominent Nigerians, including traditional rulers who have been receiving their jabs, despite persistent misinformation about the safety of the vaccines. Tonight on Weekend File, our focus will be on the vaccine rollout and various issues surrounding it. My guest is the Director, Disease Control and Immunization, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Basi Okposen, and he will be joining me during the discussion segments. Welcome to Weekend File. I'm Joseph Johnson. As always, let's bring you the news first. Let's start with security matters because President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the killing of 3 of the students kidnapped at Greenfield University, Kaduna State. The president described the students as bright youngsters who were cut down by evil people in their prime. Quote, "My thoughts are with their families in this time of grief. May their souls rest in peace," said the president. On the recurring incidents of kidnapping and killings in Kaduna State in particular, the president describes them as barbaric terror attacks. The president notes that the statements by some political and religious leaders seem to further incite and stoke the pain and anguish of mourning families. Addressing the scourge requires a great show of empathy and coming together as a society to squarely confront these elements and the danger it poses to our democracy and peaceful life in the country, the president added. He gave strong assurances that those that think that profits can be made either from money paid as ransom or in politics will really realize sooner than later that they are bound by the same fate as their victims. Banditry, kidnapping and the politics of murders will be fought with all the resources available, the president avowed. Meanwhile, the Northern States Governors Forum says it is distressed with the killing of 3 of the students recently abducted at the Greenfield University, Kaduna State, by their kidnappers. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, while reacting to the incident, described the murder of the young innocent students as shocking, barbaric and condemnable. He said the northern governors have continued to engage the federal government and security agencies towards a lasting solution to this menace of kidnapping and other criminal activities, particularly in schools, which has great implications for the future of education in the region and the nation at large. Lalong said the recent meeting of the forum with President Muhammadu Buhari and service chiefs was to further consolidate on measures towards addressing the security challenges of the region and the nation as a whole. Still talking security, operatives of the Nigeria Police Force and their counterparts from the Nigerian Army and DSS in a joint operation in the early hours of today stormed the operational headquarters of insurgents IPOB militia in Awomama village, Oru East local government area of IMO State, who are allegedly responsible for the attack on the IMO State Police Headquarters and the headquarters of the Nigerian Correctional Service on 5th April 2021. They have also carried out a series of calculated violent attacks on security personnel and formations in the southeast and south-south of the country. As the security forces approached the base of the insurgents, they came under rapid fire from the group, but the forces eventually neutralized the overall commander of the insurgents in the southeast, popularly called Ikunso commander, and 6 other armed fighters of the insurgent group. Commander Ikunso is known as the vice president designate as well as the coordinator of all the militia operations of the group. He was the mastermind and coordinator of the attack on the IMO police headquarters and several other attacks on security and military personnel and facilities. After the fierce gun battle, the security team recovered the remains of Ikunso commander and the 6 of his fighters, several sophisticated weapons, including 6 AK-47 rifles, hundreds of ammunition and lots of charms, including bullets-proof charms, were recovered from the insurgents. At the moment, 3 policemen and 1 army officer are receiving treatment, having sustained serious bullet injuries during exchange of gunfire with the insurgents. The private residence of the Imo State Governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, was attacked by unknown gunmen today in his Omuma country home. Bright Buchuo, however, reports that the state government is calling on security agencies to launch investigations immediately.
The attack on the private residence of the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma at Omuma Oru East local government area is coming barely 3 weeks after the attack on some security formations in the state. The attack, carried out by yet-to-be-identified persons, numbering about 15, occurred Saturday morning at about 9 a.m. Going by a statement made available by the State Police Public Relations Officer Orlando Ikoku, the attackers threw a petrol bomb into the building, which resulted in a fire that consumed 2 vehicles without actually affecting the buildings. 1 unarmed personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps was said to have been killed in the process, while a police sergeant and another NSCDC personnel were also killed in their private vehicles as the attackers were escaping at Mbidi Junction. Reacting to the incident, the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Declan Emelumba, described the situation as unfortunate, stressing that the officers on duty successfully repelled the attack.
His Excellency has already directed that investigation on the matter should be expeditiously handled.
Some residents of Owerri who spoke with NTA News condemned the unfortunate incident and called for an end to the series of attacks in Imo State.
We as a people need to assist government to nip this.
All we are saying is that there should be peace in the southeast, there should be peace in Nigeria, so that we'll be able to forge ahead.
Owerri, the state capital, is however peaceful as residents are going about their normal businesses unhindered in Owerri. Bright Buchuo, NTA News.
In the meantime, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has advised the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, to reduce the level of insurgency in the country. This was when the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabo, and other top military officers paid him a courtesy visit at the Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedi Ekwere completes the report.
Citing insurgents as one of the biggest threats to the country, the governor said he will support the Nigerian Governors Forum authorization of additional funds for the procurement of arms and other equipment to equip the military to end insurgents and banditry in the country. The governor noted that no sane government will fold its arms and remain indifferent at this critical moment when the country is grappling with security threats. He disclosed that the army will soon take delivery of the 5 gumbos the River State government promised them.
Where we are today, we don't need to look back to say, look, take whatever money that's available and equip the military in order to fight the insurgency we're expressing today.
He lauded the Nigerian army for proactively checkmating the activities of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, in the state. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Iriabo, is in the state on a working visit to assess some operational activities of the army and also meet with personnel.
I would like to place on record that I've received a report of your support and the support of the state government as well as the people of River State to the members of the armed forces and the conduct of their affairs.
He appealed to the citizens of the state and the Niger Delta region to continue to promote peace in order for economic activities to thrive in the region. In Port Harcourt, Oge Dinyekwe, NTA News.
To other stories now, Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Ahmad Nuhu Bamali, has toed the line of submission of the DGNTA Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed in calling on Nigerians to form alliance with relevant agencies in containing threats to national security. The Emir was speaking at the 15th Annual Ramadan Lecture jointly organized by the NTA, FRCN and Voice of Nigeria in Kaduna. Haruna Muhammad reports.
A gathering of erudite broadcasters in the month of Ramadan. On the menu was a critical assessment of Nigeria's security threat and possible solutions. The Director General NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, agrees with the Emir of Zazzau for the full participation of the public in supporting the entire security architecture in fighting insurgents and bandits.
We've been meeting the Council of Traditional Rulers under the chairmanship of His Eminence the Sultan of Sokoto and his co-chair, the Oni of Ife. We had several meetings with Mr. President, with the National Security Advisor and the service chiefs. And equally here in Kaduna, we had meetings with the governor. They're not sleeping as people are, perceiving. They're not sleeping, they're doing their best, only that it is an overwhelming situation that we'll all have to put our hands on deck to ensure at least that the needful is done.
We should be very vigilant and we should be very wary. We should report anything that is abnormal to the authorities, thereby making security our own business.
The guest lecturer, a teacher in both Western and Islamic knowledge, put forward the Islamic perspective towards winning the war against terrorism, insurgency, and banditry.
I advise and admonish people to collaborate with government and security agencies in making sure that we live in a peaceful nation. Also to collaborate with security agencies to fish out the bad eggs among us.
The 15th edition of the NTA FRCN VON Ramadan lecture also gave room for guests to ask questions, which were addressed by the guest lecturer. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Heavy rainstorm destroyed public and private property in Calabar. Among properties destroyed is a block built in 1903 by Scottish missionaries at the Hope Waddell Training Institution, one of the foremost institutions in eastern Nigeria. Aretendem reports.
Thunderbolts, it struck, leaving in its wake tales of devastation. Age-old trees, public power installations, public and private buildings, and vehicles were not spared by the rainstorm. Some affected residents lament their ordeal.
This house don't break. I don't die itself. As the storm began and everything, we were just shocked to see the building collapsed.
Some players were injured. Many of them got a big blow on their head. Some of them ran out when they saw it and started asking us for equipment to try and break the roof to bring them out.
Mr. Nefio Ekpe, who had the roof of his apartment blown off by the wind, recounts his ordeal in the hands of his neighbor.
The whole roof went off as I died yesterday. As I was sleeping this morning, a gang of people came, I don't know where they came from, came to knock at my door. They should come and see the damage I have done to their house. I went and saw the part of the roof on top of their house. I said, what do I do now? They said I should come and build the house.
As at the time of filing these reports, Concerned authorities in charge of maintenance of public facilities were seen clearing up the debris and trying to maintain structures pulled down by the storm.
Government has to do something for us, please.
As a result of the disaster, residents of Calabar have been thrown into darkness. Since the rain set in this year, the massive destruction recorded is the first. In Calabar, Arut Ndem, NTA News.
Quite heartbreaking because the said institution is my alma mater. Very emotional at the moment. Well, our federal government says it is evacuating stranded electricity to deliver more electricity to Nigerians and address revenue losses along the value chain. The first phase of the project, which will cover 10 national integrated power project NIP plans, is to stabilize electricity supply in Edo, Delta, Ondo, Ekiti states and other parts of southern region. A statement by the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, which is the federal government NIP implementing agency, says in addition to the evacuation of stranded electricity, the project will see to the upgrade of distribution infrastructure. The mother of the emirs of Kano and Bichi, Ajia Mariam Ado Bayero, is dead. President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled with the emirs of Kano, Bichi and Ilorin on the death of Mariam Ado Bayero. President Buhari says the passing of Ajia Mariam Ado Bayero is a great shock and a big loss to the late emir's family, describing her as a symbol of the same humility for which her late respected husband was famous. The president also condoled with the Ilorin royal family, especially the emir, His Highness Dr. Ibrahim Gambari and the Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, and called on them to immortalize her legacy and put into practice her noble qualities. Similarly, the Northern States Governors Forum has commiserated with the government and people of Kano State over the demise of the mother of emirs of Kano and Bichi, Ajia Mariam Ado Bayero. They described her as a loving, humble, and exemplary mother that devoted her life to inculcating positive values to the younger generation and also promoting peaceful coexistence and tolerance among people of different persuasions. They prayed God to grant her eternity and console the royal family. And the remains of late activist and spokesman of Pan-Yoruba group Afenifere comrade Yinka Odumakin have been laid to rest in his country home, Moro, in the North local government area of Osun State.
Yinka Odumakin lived a life of service, a life of selflessness. He was very committed to this country.
And I want to promise that what he stood and died for will never, ever die.
Stay with us. Let's take some messages now. When we come back, we will, of course, get into the crux of the matter.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust to provide effective relief and is gentle on the stomach. Try Panadol Caplets for relief from headaches, body aches, and fever. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet gently breaks down in the stomach, quickly absorbs, and starts providing pain relief in 15 minutes. For fast and effective pain relief that you can trust, try Panadol Caplets. This has been Medifact for Panadol.
Son, being good at something requires strength. It requires putting in more. That's why the new improved Bonvita is packed with vitality and a richer, creamier taste.
is very important for us to tell our stories so that our people will know their history. Now, for make our people to get their mindset shaped for the right way.
Now, what story be this for the best Orijo Naija dramas, telenovelas, and sports? Get your GoTV decoder, GoTenna, and 1 month GoTV Jolly subscription for the low price of 6,900 naira. Download my GoTV app to manage your account and enjoy better entertainment. GoTV, love it.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
My name is Osage Ehanere. I am Minister of Health. We have just taken the vaccine. It is the AstraZeneca vaccine. This vaccine is safe, properly researched. It is in use in many countries. We urge all Nigerians to submit themselves to taking this vaccine, persons who are 18 years old above. Otherwise, it is safe. You take your second dose after a period of about 10 to 12 weeks, and then you have immunity. Nigeria is aiming to vaccinate 70% of our population, and therefore be one of that 70% to give us herd immunity. Herd immunity means that Nigerians will not easily become infected even if they get in contact with the coronavirus.
Thanks for staying with us. Lagos State has concluded the first dose of vaccination exercise with 257,000 persons. Ingano John Adams reports that the second phase of vaccination will commence in May.
Response to the vaccination exercise against COVID-19 has no doubt been progressive and a win in the collective fight against the virus. With the inoculation of a growing number of Lagosians, the level of exposure of frontline workers to the virus has invariably declined. Of all the designated centers across the state, health officials say there is no case of mismanagement. Professor Wasiu Lanre Adeyemo is chairman, Medical Advisory Committee at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH.
Federal government has done extremely well by providing this to Nigerians. Also, we have a very good relationship with Lagos State. I must also commend Lagos State. They did extremely well. Their local government health facilities are really well established, and they are connecting with us.
For a successful finish, individuals who have received the jab have been listed for the mandatory second round.
We're also going to look at people who have developed antibodies following the vaccines, harvest the antibodies and determine if these antibodies can actually neutralize the virus.
We follow up with those that have taken the vaccine already, so we get to know if there's any adverse effect and then we act towards it.
More good news is that medics in charge of the process in the state were pleased to reveal that no rare side effects have been manifested by recipients of the vaccine. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
In the Federal Capital Territory, Aisha Ubali reports that about 55% of the more than 228,000 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine allocated to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, have been administered on residents.
The arrival of the first batch of vaccine to Nigeria, it was a great news.
It gives what we call the herd immunity because a lot of people are protected, so it prevents the infection from spreading further.
Just like other states, FCT commenced its vaccination exercise immediately, which was flagged off by the Minister of State for FCT, Ramatiti Jani Aliyu, on the 15th of March 2021.
We are committed to ensuring that the FCT serves as an example to other states in surpassing all COVID-19 vaccination targets.
We have a responsibility to do the right thing. I think this is the way to go. So I'd like to encourage other Nigerians out there to please take advantage of this opportunity.
The Federal Capital Territory Primary Healthcare Board, as administrators who should be part of the process, inaugurated the Social Mobilization Committee to see that their coverage targets was achieved. However, the board says expansion of the vaccination exercise is the focus after covering frontline workers.
Those get aside.
Okay, so when are we commencing the second dose of the...
Yeah, the second dose commences in June. Remember that we started 5th of March, and then another one 15th of March. 3 months, that is 12 weeks from that time, takes you to June. First week of June, second June. So those people, is not just guesswork. Their deaths indicated based on the data that you took it.
While preparation for the second phase of the exercise is also in top gear. In Abuja, Aisha Uba Ali.
And Sokoto State has the highest proportion of healthcare workers vaccinated compared to the general population of the first phase of COVID-19 vaccination exercise. Shehu Mohammed Datti takes a look at the progress of the COVID-19 vaccination in the state.
Sokoto State received 68,660 doses of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. Out of this, half is supposed to be administered as first dose, while the remaining will be reserved for the second phase of the vaccination. A reasonable progress has been made as more than 20,000 out of the 34,000 doses for the first phase have been administered. Director of Public Health, State Ministry of Health, Dr. Abdurrahman Ahmad said, even though they have not reached the expected target, substantial progress had been made.
The progress of the COVID-19 vaccination in the state is reasonable. We are not to where we are expected to be, but we have made substantial progress.
Sokoto State has an excellent storage facility at the state medical store with 24-hour power supply at the standby generator in case of power failure. Dr. Abdurrahman noted that this is the case in all the 23 local government areas of the state. Hesitancy was attributed to be the reason for perceived slow rate of the vaccination rollout in the state. So far, 34 people out of those that received the vaccination were reported to have had side effect of vomiting, but no life was lost or any unbearable situation due to the vaccine was received by the authorities. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
All right, let's begin our discussion segment now, as I have with me Dr. Basi Okbosen, Director, Disease Control and Immunization, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Dr. Basi, you're welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you. Good evening, Nigerians.
All right, so where are we in rolling out of the vaccines, and what's the rollout plan or strategy, if you like?
Okay. The country plans to reach at least 70% of the eligible population in 4 phases, using what we call the TEACH strategy. The TEACH strategy is an innovative indigenous strategy that the Chief Executive of the agency, Dr. Faisal Shwa, who is the lead of the team, the government working with partners, is using to reach out to all Nigerians. I want to use this opportunity, permit me to use this opportunity, because our president has been excellent and wonderful in supporting the lead, because you're asking where we are.
Yes.
Without his leadership, that of the vice presidents, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, who is the chairman of the Presidential Task Force, the Home Minister of Health, and then the Executive Director of the agency, Dr. Faisal. Their leadership has been wonderful to take us to where we are as at today. As at today, we got 3.9 to 4 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine, and we targeted using half of it to reach Nigerians and keep the half for the second dose. As of today, we have reached about 1,484,890 Nigerians with this vaccine using the daily calling data from the states. And then looking at the platform, the electronic platform, we have about 1,167,000 and then 837 Nigerians being reached. So if you look at from the calling data that comes directly from the states, we have reached so far about 73.8% of Nigerians, the vaccination is still on. And then from the EMIT platform, about 58%. This is excellent. And I'm grateful to the leadership of our leaders, like I've said. I'm thankful unto them because even in the midst of when people were saying, this vaccine will kill, they showed example. They publicly took the vaccine first. And we have immunized these millions of people till date. All those stories that we're flying that people will fall and die when they take the vaccine, we've not seen any.
Okay, well, you've talked quite a lot about the leaders. What is the role of the private organization in all of this?
Okay, I will look at their role from the pre-vaccination stage, the vaccination stage we are, and post even when we finished. And that also ties to the pillar of the control of the COVID-19 disease in Nigeria. During the period of the pandemic, the lockdown, where more through the NCDC, we were having the isolation centers or treatment centers. Now, we had the private sector came in a lot. You could remember the donations they were giving, both in equipment, drugs, and so on, the logistics they gave. And now at this time of vaccination, they are not out, they are also part of the vaccination through the CACOVID. The CACOVID, during the arrival of the vaccine and the distribution of these vaccines to the state, they played a major role contributing to getting this vaccine fast to the state, in addition to what the government was also doing to ensure that the vaccines were deployed to the states immediately. So they were part of it. They are also mobilizing their members to receive the vaccines through the advocates using their communication. And in some of the hard-to-reach areas, they also support the logistics in those areas to ensure that the government workers who are there have a comfortable environment to work and are doing their work comfortably. So they are playing a role. Okay,
awesome. Let me just pick up on your last point there, because there are some conspiracy theories, some alleging that the COVID-19 vaccine has microchips in it, and so many others. What's your thought in that direction?
Those are stories. You see, these vaccines, it depends on the type. We have the Pfizer vaccine, we have the Moderna vaccine, we have the AstraZeneca vaccine, and then many others. Some are protein-based, right? And the AstraZeneca we are using, for instance, in Nigeria, is a protein-based vaccine, very similar to what we have for the polio vaccines for children. Children have been taking this vaccine and they are safe. And even for the Pfizer and the Moderna and the rest of them, those vaccines, once given, they are like antigens. They enter into the cell. They remain in the cytoplasm. The antibodies are produced. They don't enter into the cells of the individual. That's where you have the nucleus, the DNA and the RNA. So it doesn't go in there. It remains in the surrounding that is the what part of the cells. So when people are saying it will change the DNA, it's a microchip in all this, those are stories. And I want to advise Nigerians, we shouldn't listen to those stories. Before we've heard, when you take the vaccine, you fall and die. The president has taken the vice, the ministers, the governors, myself have taken it.
Okay.
We've not followed.
Well, but I understand some countries of the world had started vaccination even before the vaccines, arrived in Nigeria. Are there lessons, at least, Nigerians can learn from?
I'll put it this way. We've learned from other countries, And most other countries, especially in Africa, have learned from Nigeria because of the leadership.
How so?
How would the rest learn from Nigeria? I'll give you an example. Once the lockdown was declared, there was a guideline from WHO banning so many things, outreaches to reach people for vaccination and a lot of things. Through the leadership of the agency, Dr. Faisal and the minister, we took a bold step, revised the guideline as a country, trained our health workers, trained community members, brought up the guideline. We finished, within a period of 4 weeks, we were able to train about 220,000 health workers and there were about 60,000 community mobilizers who went into the communities. That is what helped the health workers to come out. They had the confidence on how to approach the situation. We have so many other African countries who learned from Nigeria by requesting for those guidelines that we developed. And they use it to train their own people. So it was an example. And when it also came to submitting the proposal requesting for the vaccine, Nigeria had an excellent proposal that was submitted under the leadership of the chair of the technical working group, Dr. Faisal. And we have so many other African countries calling into Nigeria to see what we are using and using our model to also develop their plan. So a lot learned from us, just as we learned from the US when they started the vaccination, you know, the way the people were reacting, the rumors and so on. That helped our communication team to know the kind of things people are saying about the vaccination. So we prepared against those rumors and then developed messages to address those concerns.
Talking about messages and how, you know, the sensitization, you know, took place in this regard. When we come back from this break, we will talk more about that. Do stay with us.
When you come into the Glow Cafe, you're in for a world of treats. Not only can you monitor all your voice and data usage with ease, buy, share, borrow, and gift data and airtime in the smoothest ways, pay for any services of your choice using your airtime or your bank card, and manage or change your tariff plan to any plan you prefer seamlessly. You can also add friends, get sweet rewards, and so much more. Oh, and don't forget, if you ever need to recharge outside the Glow Cafe app, just dial *805# to purchase airtime or data through your bank. So, step into your Glow Cafe today.
Just dial *777# or download the Glow Cafe app today.
You're still watching NTA Weekend File with me, Joseph Johnson. Some residents in Enugu State who have been administered the COVID-19 vaccine have debunked rumors peddled on side effects of the vaccine. Chika Ugo reports that over 4,500 people have been administered the first jab of the vaccine in the state.
The state government on March 8 received 65,400 doses of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, while vaccination began across the state shortly after, with trained vaccination teams deployed to 5 primary health care centers and 2 fixed post centers in each of the 17 local government areas of the state. Vaccination kicked off with frontline workers, government functionaries, including the state governor, taking the lead.
To join the rest of the world in the use of vaccine to halt the spread of COVID-19 in our state, I therefore invite Enugu to take advantage of this opportunity, get vaccinated, and stay protected from the deadly coronavirus disease.
Over 4,500 residents of Enugu State have received the first jab of the vaccine, which includes the vulnerable and aged in the state, without any reported adverse reaction.
The COVID-19 is real, and the vaccine is here to help us. I have already taken it myself.
I have embraced it. A lot of people in this hospital have embraced it. We have started taking this vaccine. It doesn't have any major side effects.
However, some people have expressed deep concern over the vaccine following disturbing reports of alleged blood clotting suffered by some users of the vaccine. A significant number also tied their rejection of the vaccine to their religious belief.
I'm scared. I rather trust my God as I pray every day, being a pastor.
Meanwhile, the vaccines are safely stored in cold-chained storage facility.
We have checked the cold chain equipment and the dry store. We'll find out that they are all functional.
In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
Despite challenges of insurgency in parts of Borno State, the COVID-19 vaccine rollout has been successful, owing largely to massive awareness campaign. Borno State government, on its part, is ensuring an efficient storage for the second dose. Pauline Vanna has an update.
The myth, anxiety and fear of the injectable COVID-19 vaccination have almost disappeared, largely due to the ongoing sensitization and advocacy on its efficacy and safety against the pandemic.
COVID-19 is real. Federal government cannot bring something in the name of vaccine to come and kill people. So once there is this vaccine, I will take it.
Borno State received 75,510 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine, out of which 34,080 were utilized on health workers and government officials.
The desire to have the disease eradicated in the state, and that has accounted for the reasons why we have many clamoring for the vaccine.
We have 113 vaccination centers, and all of them have the functional solar direct drive refrigerators, and also we have stored our remaining second dose. That is 50% of what we have got from the National Primary Health Care.
Currently, there is a special vaccination exercise for intending Muslim pilgrims from the balance of the 50% first dose of the vaccination.
In order not to waste that period of time, that was why the vaccines that was earlier distributed for first dose is now to be divided into two for first and second doses.
The state now awaits the second phase of vaccination, just as the second dose of the people who received the first will commence in June 2021. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Akwa Ibom State has wrapped up the first phase of the COVID-19 vaccinations on a positive note, as over 26,000 of the 69,030 doses received were administered. Out of this number, only about 146 mild reactions have been reported, and the medics commend this record while harping on the need for increased receptivity. Ifeoma Ihoje reports.
The resistance of humans against this virus will be the only way out of this pandemic.
As against the initial theories of resentment, frontline health workers in Akwa Ibom State are quite enthusiastic about having the much talked about COVID-19 vaccine. Taking the lead to be vaccinated, health officers at the Infectious Disease Center at Tumbang, after about 30 minutes of observing for reactions, disclosed that they were in good condition and had no fears of any complication.
It's safe. It has undergone stringent processes before the vaccine was released for vaccination. I don't have any adverse effect or reaction. So I can tell you that it's safe. It has been certified by NAFDAC, and I've taken today, and I'm fine.
Reassuring the efficacy and benefits of the AstraZeneca vaccine, stakeholders including the Akwa Ibom State Commissioner for Health, Professor Augustine Omo, say the vaccination, which will be administered in phases, is the surest means of overcoming the scourge of the coronavirus pandemic.
I would have been very surprised if the vaccine had just shown up and nobody asked any question, nobody worried about it. It's to be expected, it's something new. So I'm not worried that maybe someone might say, oh, should I take the vaccine, should I not take? That is perfectly normal. We are available as a ministry to provide all the necessary information, all the necessary awareness.
The agency is up and doing, even with the pandemic, to make sure that we monitor the process, ensure efficacy is maintained, and the status of these vaccines are maintained also in the cold stores.
The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Primary Healthcare Development Agency, is expected to work out modalities to get everyone vaccinated as the vaccines are made available. In Uyo, Ifeoma Ihoje, NTA News.
All right, I still have my guest with me, Dr. Basi Okbosen. He is the Director of Disease Control and Immunization, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Dr. Basi, all right, let's talk about sensitization, because just before we went on that break, you were telling me some of the steps, some of the measures you are taking, your agency is taking towards sensitizing, Nigerians on the vaccination, on the vaccines, because a lot of people are still, skeptical about taking the jabs, owing to some of the accounts of side effects like blood clots and others. So, how far are you taking the awareness campaign?
Just before I answer that, I just want to use this opportunity and reassure all the Nigerians that are hearing me that the AstraZeneca vaccine we are using now is safe and effective. I won't go into the details more than that, but answer your question now. A lot has been done before the arrival of the vaccine. We have the advocacy communication team, not just from the agency. We have all our partners who are members of the team, also our Federal Ministry of Health, other underlying ministries who are part of the team. It's a whole team. There are about 40-something in the team from government and all partners who plan and implement together. They've reached out to so many stakeholders through sensitization meeting. They reached out to most of them, about 87 so far, different groups through the Zoom link, some face-to-face. We've reached out as an agency to the traditional religious leaders, the National Traditional Leaders Forum, the ED, the minister, the chairman of the PTF. We have had physical meetings with them about twice, and they have all committed to taking the vaccination. We've seen them being example. All our real fathers, emirs, the chiefs from the south, north, east, and west, they are all taking the vaccination because they are committed to it, and also talking to their people. These are through the sensations we had from our leadership. There are also public service announcements. There are also videos that are out to the health workers. They were trained on what to do and the kind of information they need to give to the people. The town announcers at the lower level, ward level, have also been trained in their thousands to reach out using the local languages to reach out to the people. There are infographics that are out there. There are also frequently asked questions. And then we have the social media consultants from the government and partners who are working to ensure that the information goes to our Twitter handle, Facebook, Instagram, and the rest of them, so that those that are online can see this information. So a lot is ongoing and is still ongoing. I reassure Nigerians on behalf of the team that please disregard those rumors. The vaccines we have are safe.
Well, there may be rumors, but then we have cases of mild side effects. Are you saying these mild side effects are normal, reactions?
I'll put it this way. As good as milk is milk, is it everybody that takes milk? No. There are some people, if you give them milk, they take now, they will end up in hospital.
Okay.
As good as fish, meat, chicken, some cannot sleep without chicken. There are some, if you give them chicken to eat, they end up in hospital. They can't take it.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that in life, there are individuals that we will not always find things the same way.
More like one man's meat is another man's poison. Okay.
You come to ordinary things like pain relievers, like paracetamol. It's not everybody that can take it. There are some people, majority take it because it's useful. There are a few, if they take, they start sweating, they become anxious and the rest. So when it comes to COVID-19 vaccine, its advantages, importance far outweighs the disadvantages. From all the investigation, the trials that have been done, it far outweighs. So there are people, the common things people see, because so far, because we keep records from all the states, so far as at date, we have about 8,946 cases that were reported. Majority of these ones were mild cases, while just 52 of this number were moderate to severe. In the severe, what were those instances? We see it majorly from fever, severe diarrhea. Some of them at the point of the vaccination, they were, afraid. Even before they put the needle, they were afraid. By the time they gave them the injection, they collapsed. At the time they took them to the bed, within 30 minutes they have come up. You know, and we know that most of those were from fear. So we never saw anything disturbing amongst the people that are being given.
Okay, Dr. Bassi, what are the protocols for those traveling out of the country and for those traveling to the country? In terms of, I don't know if this is going to be a criterion, you know, for traveling out.
You know, remember, there are some countries that have started doing that already. Okay. Like Saudi Arabia. They've started requesting for it. If you don't have evidence of the jab, then they will force you and vaccinate you. Some already started. Okay. And that's why you heard me say severally, appreciating our leadership for the vision, foresight we had as a country to have introduced the innovative strategy we call the TEACH strategy, where we started the vaccination using electronic platform. So those cards that are issued to Nigerians, there are QR codes that are attached to them. They have been activated so that anywhere in the world, you will see and know that this person was vaccinated in Nigeria.
All right, thank you.
We are good to go.
Yes, we're good to go indeed. Thank you very much, Dr. Bassi Okposen, the Director, Disease Control and Immunization, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency. Thank you for clearing all that out for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so let's take a break, and we are back with sports. Stay with us.
I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher no more. I fell one project. Teacher no more. I fell one project.
The premiere of the new season of The Village Headmaster, initially scheduled for the second quarter of 2021, has now been postponed till further notice. We apologize for this short notice and promise to keep our viewers and advertisers informed as soon as we have a new date.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. We are trying, shall.
Let's bring you sports now, and here is Olumide Oguntala in our Lagos studio for Sports Update.
Thank you, Joseph. A warm welcome to Sports Update. My name is Olumide Oguntala. Let's begin with the 2021 CAVB Volleyball Club Championship in Tunisia. It's a rest day for participating team as Nigeria's representatives, Customs, reaffirmed commitment to advance to the semi-final stage when hostilities resume on Sunday. The Nigeria Customs won 2 matches and lost 1 to place third in Group B, while the Custom men team are playing the placement match against APR of Rwanda in the competition.
Once we win the next match, automatically we'll have qualified for semi-final, irrespective of how we played the last match.
Back home, action continues on Sunday in Ijebu-Ode at the ongoing Nigeria Women Football League Super 6 competition, as Saturday is observed as rest day. Match day 5 fixtures show that Edo Queens will lock arms with Bayelsa Queens. Sunshine Queens will be up against table toppers Rivers Angels with 8 points, among other matches. Meanwhile, Delta Queen is second also with 8 points but lesser goals difference, while FC Robo is third with 7 points. In the English Premier League, Saturday results indicate that Liverpool was denied the much-needed win in their chase of a Champions League slot with a disappointing 1-1 home draw. Chelsea recorded a lone goal away victory against West Ham United. Sunday fixture shows that Wolverhampton Wanderers will host Burnley. Manchester United will be the guest of Leeds United, while Aston Villa will trade tackles with West Bromwich Albion. And that's Sports Update for tonight. Back to Joseph.
Thank you, and that does it on Weekend File for tonight. Thank you very much indeed for your company. I'm Joseph Johnson. Remember to always connect with the NTA and stand against rape and rapists. Good night.